I guess we should begin with yesterday, Aggie baseball, to be fair. We got our pitching rotation set for the weekend. Cedeo's going to stay on Friday, but Weston Moss has been removed from the rotation. Aiden Sims has moved to Saturday, and Sunday is officially TBA. I don't know how TBA still has eligibility left. I have seen TBA back in the Southwest Conference. I saw TBA in the Big 12. I've seen TBA now in the SEC. TBA is timeless and undefeated. To be announced. It's a fascinating concept because to me, the question wasn't what you do with Aiden Sims. The question is what you do with Shane Cedeo, and the answer ended up being nothing. Fascinating choice. Moving Aiden Sims up to Saturday, it's kind of nice. Everyone talks about, having the best Sunday starter. I took that angle. What do you do at Shane Cedeo? That's still a legitimate question. But it's not the worst thing in the world having your best pitcher on the second game, the Saturday, but we'll just say game 2. Because if you get the Friday dub, you can win the series in the second game. If you lose the Friday, you can bounce back and even the series on Saturday. So there is a play, a narrative to having your best pitcher on the second game, the Saturday game. It's to win the series. It's to get even in the series. I have no problem with the base concept. The worst pitcher of the three was probably Shane Cedeo. Pulling Weston Moss out is interesting. Now, I will argue that moving Aiden Sims off of Sunday was an easy call, especially because you're facing Texas this weekend. And Texas's best starters on Sunday, Dylan Valentis. And I think it's particularly smart to not throw Sims versus Valentis, to be fair with you. Aiden Sims is by and far easily, absolutely your number one pitcher. And to throw him against by and far their number one pitcher, where the number one advantage in this entire series for Texas is all of their pitching, is a great strategic play. So moving Sims, especially against Texas, is a fantastic move. It's interesting, still leaving Cedeo, and he might throw a no-hitter tonight, and people go, see, you're an idiot, Lou. No, you have to go off the logic and the results to date, not a predictive what if, what maybe, hey, 1 in a million shot, I think. But moving Sims off of Sunday, especially against Texas, is a fantastic call. I think the toughest part of this series, because normally I have no problem with the Aggie offense going for TBA on Sunday, but against Texas, I feel like you're almost guaranteed to lose the Sunday game, and this is not an A&M thing. This is anybody. Valentis is 4-0 with a 2.01 ERA, and I think there's a lot of Longhorn fans who have been arguing, begging, totally confused as to why he's not their Friday night starter when he's effectively been their best starter, but their starters are also good. That's a relative question. For Texas, they're throwing Riojas tonight, who's 5-1 with a 2.74. So he's not exactly chopped liver suffering himself. It's been the bullpen on Friday nights. It's been the issue for Longhorn baseball because they've lost 2 in walk-off fashion, including a walk-off grand slam and a walk-off 3-run error. Here's the starting rotation for Texas. Riojas, Friday nights, 5-1, 2.74. Saturday's Harrison, who's 4-0 with a 2.72. And then Valentis is their Sunday starter, who was former closer of the year a year ago, who's 4-0 with a 2.01. So, and then Cedeo goes tonight. Sims goes Saturday. And again, moving him off of Sunday versus Valentis is brilliant. On Sunday, in my head with a TBA, And of course, it depends on how much pitching, what arms you have to throw in the first two. But for the Sunday game, if you can throw, depending upon availability, Moss, Lyons, and Cunningham, and between the combination of those three arms, if you can get 6 men, but maybe 7, any combination of them three, because now that Moss is in the pen, will he be able to throw 2 of the 3 days? Unless he's asked to go 4 or 5. But if he's doing 2 twice, between Lyons, Moss, and Cunningham, can you get 2, 2, 3? And they can get 7. And leave 2 innings over on a Sunday to the rest. A&M's offense can go 8 to 12 runs on most Sunday starters. I don't think I expect that against Volantis. You're actually going to need a Sunday pitching performance, but you don't have Sims there anymore. It's going to be fascinating to watch how the series against Texas, but it's like the micro each game of this series against Texas. Can Cedillo put it together? Sims on Saturday, kind of a huge fan of. TBA, I see a path, but due to the inconsistency of the bullpen, a Moss, Cunningham, Lyons kind of combo where the 3 just need to give you 7, do you think all 3 could make it through without one of them blowing up? Is kind of the greater picture question now, right? I am fascinated by everything from each game to the series itself to beat the hell out of TU, just as a base statement. So pour this series into my vein. Beat the number 2 team in the country in the series, and you're locking yourself down towards hosting. There's many challenges awaiting. This rest of the schedule is brutal, but, I mean, I could say the obvious. But this sure would go a long way. Let's go. You'll hear every game, A&M, Texas, this weekend, 6:45 tonight. What is it, 1:45 tomorrow, and then 12:45 on Sunday. Done my game times right, I might as well check, I have a schedule right here in my hand. I do! Holy cow. 6:45 tonight. 1:45 Saturday and 12:45 Sunday. You'll hear all 3 games right here on the Zone. 1150 AM, 93.7 FM. You can listen at radioaglin.com, and you can listen by telling Alexa, play Zone 1150. Question from the Texas Mobile and Lube Express inbox. Can we score 12 plus against their ERA pitchers? This A&M offense is real and outstanding. And one of the things I said is they had not faced one of these kind of pitching staffs yet. So this is a test for them. They have faced good pitchers. They had faced pitchers that came in with some gaudy, nice numbers before and beat the snot out of them. This is like a final exam level pitching staff they're going to face. I don't know if they can do 12 plus. I mean, if you put up 6 plus, 6 against this level pitching staff, that's pretty elite level. Can the A&M pitching staff hold the Texas offense to less than 6 as you put up 6 on an elite pitching staff? That's kind of the question. I mean, remember something. They've lost SEC baseball games while scoring 10 runs and 8 runs and 7 runs. So the challenge is ahead. That's why I'm fascinated by each game. Moving on briefly in the maroon and white notebook, Aggie softball starts the second half of their SEC play. They got 4 series left. 2 against top 15, top 10 RPI teams. 2 against still like top 30, but you're superior and you need to just beat them up and move along on your day. Aggie softball this weekend's in Oxford, taking on Ole Miss, the Rebels. Always enjoyed a weekend in Oxford. Sneaky good food places if you know where to look. No problem with walking around the downtown square. Always could find a nice drink. Always found the people rather nice. But A&M softball, Ole Miss, tonight, 5:45 pre. 6 o'clock first pitch. You can listen on Willie 1550 AM and at radioaggieland.com. Matty Stats, legend Matt Simon with all the action. Again, down the stretch they come, and what a final series of the year. I know that's a month away, but to finish the year, Davis Diamond hosting Oklahoma, the dynasty, the legacy is, it's insane-ish is what I'll tell you. I'm a softball junkie. So, and to have OU make their way here, they lead. They have broken like every D1 freshman, all these home run records. And that was at the midseason mark. This is one of the most potent offenses in the history. But that's a month away. You got Ole Miss, Mississippi State, South Carolina, Oklahoma. And this Aggie softball team, they're still not in a hosting position with a month to go, but they can end up hosting. It's reachable. Just continue on the path they're on. Just win each series that's left. Now, before we take a timeout, we'll talk some Aggie basketball when I'm joined by Bryce Jones. Pop Isaacs entered the transfer portal. And according to Chip Howard, who has an in with Pop, there is no animosity in this. There is no, I hate you, Bucky. You too, Pop. This was all about just minutes. And in the Bucky system, you're not going to play 30. This is just a minutes thing. Just a minutes thing. So, and it made me ponder Ruben Dominguez. I don't think he wants to go up and down the court for 22 minutes. He wants to shoot the ball for probably 30. I mean, so the buckyball system, maybe for certain players, they don't want to play just 22, 24 minutes. There could be a negative in the recruiting world in the buckyball system. The positive is you're going to play if you come here. The negative could be the limitation of minutes, because Pop Isaacs might be the best example of that now, of a player who, he just wants to play, and there's not enough minutes in the system for him. When we return, Marcel Reed, a listen-in. Spring football in their words. It's how we do. Here on the Louis Bellina Show, Friday on The Zone.
Make sure to get the podcast of TexAgs Live, The Louis Bellina Show, or Chip Howard Sports Talk Daily at zone1150.com and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Let's go. It is the Louis Bellina Show. I'm inside the Charles Schwab studio, the Friday edition, 11:35. Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman. We're going to visit with him, get the Longhorn Baseball scouting report with him. He would know. Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman. 11:55 is the high school sports update. Hey, if you ever need your land cleared, land excavated, land fixed up, check out d4landservices.com, d4landservices.com. It is time now. And Aggie football, listen. And we do spring football in their words. Players, coaches, they speak, we listen. Time now, A&M quarterback Marcel Reed.
Kind of like the next step in the development going to look like in your second full year to start?
Yeah, just a consistency factor. I think, going into this season, I'm trying to be as consistent as possible, trying to eliminate the negative plays in all ways, whether it's losing some yards, taking a sack instead of throwing the ball away, or turning the ball over, especially in critical situations like we're in 3rd and goal, we have field goal in our pocket, or we just got the ball back and I'm giving it right back to the defense. I'm trying to eliminate plays like that. So just trying to find that and get hit my reads quicker, communicate with the receivers and figure out what we're trying to do, because we have a couple of new guys, obviously, and we're just all trying to be on the same page. So that's what the spring is for right now.
Speaking of new guys, you built up quite a connection with Isaiah Horton. Just tell me what it's been like working with him throughout the spring.
Yeah, it's been awesome. Everybody knows that he's from my hometown, so just kind of having that connection, previous to him coming here is super special. Being able to have our parents, both come down, every Saturday this year, who've already shared a relationship, is going to be pretty awesome. So I'm just excited to be playing with him. And, having that Nashville bond in the field.
What has Holman Wiggins been like so far as an offensive coordinator? How are things maybe similar or different to Coach Klein's?
Yeah, Coach Wiggins, I think, he's a real kind of, person's coach. He connects with his receivers, obviously, because he was a previous receivers coach. So it's not hard for him to get a word out to them. And I think, that's really what we need. Everybody knows, how receivers work, and he can manage that pretty well, along with me managing. So it's just been special having him. I like him calling plays. He's done a really good job so far this spring, and it hasn't really changed much. We just kind of changed a little bit of terminology, maybe a little bit of tweaks and some schemes, but it's going pretty good so far.
Marcel, how much of a factor can Isaiah be, do you think, in your continued growth, and especially, when you are in the red zone and things like that?
Yeah, he's going to be a huge factor. I mean, when you have a guy who's, 6'3 plus on the outside, where you can, throw some one-on-one balls and give those opportunities when they're trying to overload a side in the secondary, that's going to be critical for us, especially, like you said, in the red zone. And just having a vertical threat like that with speed and size is going to be really good for us.
And you mentioned y'all have some history from Nashville, I guess 7-on-7 and things like that. So have you been able to develop a rapport with him maybe quicker than some other new receivers?
Yeah, it's been really good. We've always been able to come back home in the offseason and train together. We've always had it. We've always had, me throwing the ball, him catching it. So it's familiar to us. And, when we get out on the field, it's just, we're just going to have fun while executing.
How have you seen him develop from when y'all were in your 7-on-7 days to when he showed up here now?
Yeah, he's developed a lot. I mean, obviously being in college changes a person, and he's gotten bigger, gotten stronger, gotten faster. And I think, one thing about him, he has sure hands. So I can always expect him to catch the ball when it's in his vicinity, and I'll never have to doubt that.
You mentioned trying to some of the negative plays that you had last year. I'm just curious, as you got maybe a chance to go back and watch the tape, particularly the turnovers late in the season. Was there a common thread you saw in some of those plays that you're trying to improve on in that aspect?
Yeah, I think, me being able to, make movements in the pocket while keeping my feet at a good base and, keeping the throw level is really what's important. A lot of those throws I had sailed over and went over the head of receivers, so just trying to keep those on, make on-body throws this year is what I'm really trying to focus on.
Curious too, just about what it's like with Joey Lynch, a quarterback coach now, and Elko mentioned he's pretty much strictly quarterbacks, and I'm just curious what you've seen, maybe a benefit in that aspect as well.
Yeah, I think having a legitimate quarterback coach, like you said, is really awesome. He can really focus in on us instead of just the entire offense. He does a really good job in meetings and just trying to point out certain things that we need to work on. And I think my relationship with Coach Lynch is amazing. I go up there and talk ball with him all the time, whether it's just watching practice or talking about extra protection stuff. We have a really good relationship. He was the OC at Vanderbilt when I was in high school, so I used to go up there a lot, when I was a recruit then. So we've had it for a while. So just being able to have him as my coach this year is awesome.
After the benefit of a poll last year starting, you come into this year potential, want to be a leader. How much more comfortable are you now compared to where you were about a year ago?
A lot more comfortable. When you get experience and you've seen things and you're able to tell people, it's just like your parents telling you stuff. You might not want to listen, but they're going to listen eventually when it happens. So me being able to be vocal towards my teammates and them kind of understand through practice and through understanding and just going through it, understanding it's really important for me. And I think I've taken a step just being a lot more vocal, having the confidence to be vocal, because I know that people look up and know that I'm going to work my hardest and put my best effort on the field every day.
Does Holman encourage you to run more, or is it just kind of the same approach as it's always been? Because you are a very dynamic runner.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever really encouraged me to run more. They know that I'm going to do it on my own if it comes to it. I think what they have encouraged me to do is make a quick decision. So if I see something pre-snap or just throughout my read, get out of it and scramble the pocket or get to the check down quicker. Sometimes I get outside the pocket and there's people coming at me and I'm looking downfield. If I don't have it, I'm going to throw it out of bounds. So I think just emphasizing that and, like I said, eliminating those negative plays, taking lost yardages is what's really important.
I know Joey recruited you back when he was at Vanderbilt. What was that kind of like, and just to have that relationship with him these last kind of 5 years?
Yeah, no, it's been pretty cool. I remember when he actually first got to A&M, Coach Elko was introducing all the new coaches, and I was still thinking, like, he was the OC at Vanderbilt, and I just see the guy in the corner. I'm like, why is Coach Lynch here? And then he announced Coach Lynch as a new offensive coach, so helping the running backs. So it was pretty cool to see him. But yeah, when I was in high school, I used to go up to Vanderbilt and visit all the time because it's not too far away from my house. And whenever they had home games, I'd go watch some college football just to do it and be around other recruits out there. So I used to go up and watch film with the Vanderbilt people whenever I could on those visits. So it was just, it's an amazing connection that I've had for a while, and I'm just happy that he's the coach now.
Last spring, go ahead.
I know you last year. It sounded like you changed your throwing motion a little bit. Is there anything mechanically you've changed this offseason or want to change a little bit?
Yeah, I really didn't change anything up here. I think it's, like I said, just my base, making sure that I kind of finish wide, just making sure I have the rotation, getting the hip through. A lot of quarterbacks leave their back foot back, but I try to get the hip through, create some more spin on the ball. So just doing that and having the whip in my wrist to make sure the ball comes out right every time.
And Marcel, what have you seen from the freshman wide receivers like Aaron, TK, Matt? Like, it's kind of like talking about like their development.
No, guys are becoming comfortable. They're doing a really good job so far. Obviously, it's hard coming into college early and early and getting in the spring and just learning to install so fast. It's not like high school at all. But they're getting used to the pace and the speed of SEC football, and I think they're doing a really good job for where they've been so far.
Did the game slow down for you at all? And if so, like, was there a moment you can remember, like, all right, I kind of see this whole picture clear now?
Yeah, the game has slowed down. I think after my first three starts, I think redshirt freshman year is when it kind of started to slow down. When I gained that confidence in that Florida game, and then went into the rest of them, I think that's when it happened. And just seeing everybody else have the confidence in me as well just calmed me down.
Last spring, you shared some personal goals that you had for yourself for the upcoming year. I'm just curious if you set any personal goals this offseason, some markers that you're trying to reach.
Yeah, I'll probably get back to y'all. Definitely wrote them down. They're sitting in my drawer, my dresser. But yeah, definitely, completion percentage, still trying to get that up a little bit. Obviously have some yards that, I want to achieve this year. Obviously want to shoot for that Heisman again and the SEC championship and the national championship as well.
Remember last year you talked about you watching a lot of film on guys like Lamar Jackson. I wonder if you watch anyone new, especially as you're working on your throwing motion, just kind of try to model or something.
Yeah, I watched a lot of Jaden Daniels and Jalen Hurts. I really like, the quick decision making that Jaden Daniels makes and how he gets out of the pocket. Also, Jalen Hurts, I just like how he directs the field and how he's such a field general.
You mentioned Holland's kind of a player's coach, a person coach. What are maybe some examples of that? How does he kind of relate to y'all well?
Yeah, I think it's always good when you have a coach who has been in the environment of a bunch of other great coaches. Obviously, Coach Wiggins has a history of being at Bama with Coach Saban, Coach Sark, all those people. And he's also played the game, so he understands it and how to coach his players. So he definitely gets on us when we need it, but everybody understands, the reason why. And I think that's really what's important.
What do you think the best version of Marcel Reed in 2026 looks like?
I think just a confident Marcel Reed. I think that's the word, a confident Marcel Reed. I mean, there's really nothing I don't believe I can do. So just going into every single game and, playing to the best of my ability and trying my best to be consistent and lead this team the right way is how I think you're going to see the best Marcel Reed.
Have you learned about yourself or just the environment of being late in the season when you're on a playoff run? There's a Heisman campaign that you can maybe carry over to success this next season?
I don't really think I learned too much about myself. I've been the same person all my life. I don't think I ever get too up, get too down. I'm a really mellow person, and I don't really let anything get to me. I'm not too much of an emotional person. Whenever things are going great. Whenever things are going bad, so what? Hopefully tomorrow comes, and you get to do it all over again. So just try not to make the same mistake twice, and keep living.
It seems like in the practices we've watched, we maybe only had one turnover at a time. It seems like you've really taken care of the football. Is that something you've noticed? Is it gotten easier from that standpoint? And why do you think that might be?
That's the goal. Not to turn the ball over. That's the plan to win in the meeting room. It's the first thing that we have. Win the turnover battle. So as long as the offense take care of the ball and the defense creates turnovers, I think we're going to win every game.
That was Marcel Reed, part of our Aggie football listening. We do spring football in their words. When the players and coaches talk, we listen in. Up next here on the Louis Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Up next, I'm pretty fired up, Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman. He will give us our Longhorn Baseball scouting report. If there's time, of course, we talk Aggies too. But Ced covers Longhorn Baseball. I think he knows what we need to know when we return. This is the Louis Bellina Show inside the Charles Schwab studio. Friday, yeah, I got that part right at least, on the Zone.
The Louis Bellina Show.
Let the broadcasting of the Disturbed continue.
Fun is not optional.
Darn it.
Weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone.
The Louis Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. built on faith, family, and community. CC Electric, residential, commercial, and industrial services. They do it CC Electric. Time now. Good friend of mine, good friend of yours, good friend of anyone that loves journalism, talking about Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman. Cedric, how's your world, brother? You've been busy, man.
It's going great. What's up, Lou?
Not much. It's time. That's all I'm going to say. It is time. Number 18, Texas A&M hosting number 2, the Longhorns. Baseball, Bluebell Olsen this weekend. You know, the whole time I'm thinking, who's the best Longhorn starting pitcher? Is it Volantis? And then I'm taking a look. I'm getting ready. I'm analyzing. Is the answer all of the above when we're talking about that Longhorn pitching staff?
I don't know, man. I know their Friday night guy, Ruger Riojas, ran into some problems last week. He's been pretty consistent. But of the three, Riojas, Luke Harrison, and Dylan Volantis, I think I would probably go with Luke Harrison, the Saturday guy. He's been the most consistent. He's has his walks are down. He's not hitting as many guys as he hit last year, and he's pitching with a nice ease about him, Lou. And I think it'll be interesting to see. We talked to Schlossnagel yesterday in the dugout, and he's not making any changes to his rotation. So it's going to be Riojas, Harrison, and then Volantis. So it'll be interesting to see. I know that Friday night game is so big, but he's sticking to his guns, and it's worked for the Horns so far. But I would go give Harrison the slight edge of the three.
Now, if you could, a little scouting report, like what kind of pitcher, and we'll just start with Riojas, obviously going tonight, the righty. Is he the fastball? Is he a curve slide? What kind of pitcher is Riojas actually?
Riojas has 5 or 6 different pitches. His velocity is up from like 94 to 96. He's topping out around 96 this year. He's kind of a bulldog. He pitches to contact. When he's gotten in trouble, it's been because he's walked guys, and that's what happened to him. I think in his last start, he got a little bit ahead of himself and started putting guys on base, and then gave up a big one. Only went 3 2/3 innings. So I think if he starts out well, he's one of those bulldog types who will settle in later. Not a huge guy, not a big dude. Last year he was pitching really well, and he got sick near the end of the season, right before postseason, and dropped like 20 pounds. Had this bad flu bug and dropped like 20 pounds and never found his groove again after that. So he's healthy, looks bigger, looks stronger, and he's kind of a different dude. They describe him as a hippie. You'll see when you see the long hair and the mustache, but it'll be interesting to see how he bounces back from that last start.
Huge strikeout rate. Has the most strikeouts of any starter scheduled this weekend. 68 Ks and 42 2/3 innings.
Yeah, and he challenges batters. Doesn't mind going after them, and sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. The confidence it doesn't waver, and he's got the experience, most experienced guy they have, and Schlossnagel. When we saw that he was starting him on Friday, we really assumed before the season that it would be Volantis, but the way it's worked out, Lou, it's turned out to be the right decision. Ruger Riojas has been pretty consistent.
Saturday, the lefty, Luke Harrison, pitcher you think is the best of the three. Scouting report, if you don't mind.
Big dude, burly, comes after you. Really has a great countenance about himself, Lou. We talked to him in the dugout yesterday, and I asked him about the firestorm that's coming, the reaction that's going to happen when Schloss walks in the Bluebell, and he's very focused. He goes, "Well, we'll let the fans worry about that stuff. We'll concentrate on the baseball." And so he's got an interesting story. He was really up and down last year, and they had him behind a guy named Jared Spencer, but Jared Spencer blew his shoulder out after getting off to like a 4-1 start, and that kind of pushed Luke into the fray. Luke is very comfortable in that Saturday role of the three guys. So Volantis is the biggest physically. He's like 6'6", 215, 220 pounds. But if you see Harrison, he's burlier. He's got the broad shoulders. He looks like a linebacker, and he pitches like it too. So it'll be fun to see. That Friday game is so big, Lou. But what's happened all year long is when Luke Harrison pitches, the Longhorns win, Lou. They're 20-3 in his 23 games this year, dating back to last year. When he pitches, they're 20-3.
On Sunday, another lefty, like the All-American former closer, and at this point in the year, I mean, this will be his 9th start of the year, so, that closer thing is in his past. He can't even remember how to spell closer. Dylan Volantis is going to get the ball in the scouting report on Volantis.
Okay, big 6'6", 215-pound lefty. Has a lot of pitches. He has 3 pet pitches that he goes to. He's developed a changeup, and his velo is usually around early 90s. They're hoping he could get up to 95, 96. I don't think he's touched that yet. Of the 3 pitchers, he's got the biggest upside. He's a location guy, Lou. And he has this, I talked to Greg Swindell about him, and Greg Swindell goes, the problem for batters when they face him is he's 6'6", and he's got this high release point, and the ball's on top of you before you know it. And so it's really difficult, especially on a bright, sunny day, to have to deal with that release point. So it'll be interesting to see what the weather's like. I hear there's rain in the forecast. That's never good for anybody, but he settled into this thing. We thought that he would just keep that Schloss would keep him as the closer. But, starting pitchers on the next level make more money, so you can understand why a young man would want to be a starter.
Absolutely. We're visiting with Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman. Yeah. Normally he's Thursday, but, he has a real job. You would think like hanging out on the Louis Bellina show is enough for him, but Cedric has big dreams. So Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman, kind enough to join us on a Friday. If you ever need some forestry, mulching, pond construction, hey, looking for a metal building, and I mean custom from the ground up, check out D4Landservices.com. D4Landservices.com. You mentioned earlier, Cedric, that yesterday you're hanging out, just you, Coach Schloss in the dugout. You're kind of chilling and talking to him. I caught some of the clips, and he was asked about, returning to College Station. And I think, what was his quote on that? Like, he doesn't fear it or something like that. And I didn't think he would fear it. What exactly did he say? You were there.
I don't remember him saying that. I just remember him going, he's excited to be back. He's still got friends down there that he talks to, and some former players that have reached out to him, and so he's excited about the buzz that's going to be in that place. I don't think he's excited about some of the things he's probably going to hear coming out of the stands, but it's baseball, it's college baseball, and he said that they got beer dumped on him at Auburn, and so that's that it is what it is.
But there's no place for that. You can do the chants. You can do you can even yell, "You suck." I mean, I hope people have better. A&M fans will have better than that. You could, but the throwing beers and things like that, that's the over the line stuff.
Yeah, that's really low brow sophomoric behavior. I remember in 2005, when Texas played at Ole Miss, the left fielder Nick Peoples was drenched in beer after the game. You could smell it on him because those people in left field kept throwing beer on him, but that people do that, and I've never understood it. It gets worse. The pro fans are even worse. Never go to a Raider game in road gear. But I think that it's a great going to be a great atmosphere at Bluebell, and I think Schloss understands how frustrating that was for the fan base after almost winning it all to lose their head coach, and he understands that. He said he loved the 12th man, and he was the first coach to have him play the spirit of spirit of Aggieland in the third inning because he just loved the baseball fans' buzz, and so it'll be fun to see what the reaction is. I expect it to be raucous, but I think it'll also be a pretty clean raucous. I don't think it's going to devolve into something ugly.
99.8% of the time, Aggie fans do it right. There's no doubt in the universe about that. Cedric, if you could, what do we, Aggie fans, people that haven't watched Longhorn baseball year, what do we need to know about the Longhorn offense?
They're very deep from top to bottom, starting with the leadoff hitter, Ethan Mendoza. Watch out for their third baseman, Casey Borba. He just moved over from first base because their shortstop, Rodriguez, got hurt. Hurt his hand, had a little hand surgery, and will be back later. Borba's on a heater, and so's their center fielder, Aiden Robbins, who transferred over from Seton Hall. Those guys are swinging the hottest bats right now. The catcher, Carson Tenney, is a Notre Dame transfer who has homered in like 3 of the last 4 games. So they've got some pop in the lineup. At the bottom, near the middle of the lineup, there's a freshman right fielder named Anthony Pack, who's been really good this year, a left-handed hitter. And they're not relying on just one guy or 2 guys. They have pop from top to bottom, and lots of guys that can leave the yard. It's going to be interesting to see if they have any road jitters. They've been tested. I think they've won every series, so this will be their biggest test because of the out story involved with Schloss, and knowing that he's returning to where he used to coach, and the key for them to be successful in this series is to make it about baseball and not make it about the exterior, the outside noise. That's easier said than done, Luke.
Absolutely. Cedric, we got to run. I hate this. I could talk to you for days, but this is funny. Had a text message, and people are new to town all the time, and they said, "Who is Cedric Golden?" Well, if you need to know who Cedric Golden is,
he is an artist whose canvas is the printed page. A legendary wordsmith and scribe. The English language bows down to his powers. He is the Texas Sports Writer of the Year from the Austin-American Statesman, Cedric Golden.
And I think we've cleared that up now. If you want to know who Cedric Golden is. Brother, are you doing breakfast with Olin right now? Are you coming in for the game? Are you coming in later? What's the story?
I'm coming in later. Our beat writer, Danny Davis, is going to do Friday, Saturday, so I will be in town on Sunday. So hopefully the good Lord will give us some really good weather, and these weather guys are wrong for a change. And but I'll be there for the last game.
Travel safe, be awesome. Thank you always, and man, it's always too short, man. It don't matter what day of the week it is. Be great, brother.
You too, bro. Take care.
Later. Cedric Golden of the Austin-American Statesman hanging out with us on the D4 Land Services hotline. If you ever need your land fixed, cleared, land excavated, D4landservices.com. Forestry, mulching, pond construction, metal buildings, visit D4landservices.com.
Blending Southern culture with college football.
You guys are awesome.
Music, sport commentary, and more. It's Marty and McGee.
Marty and McGee.
Saturday mornings from 6 to 9 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.